This is a Ekman Fine Art project lesson, Christmas tree ornament, Snowman. Project lessons are for learning acid-free fine art cast paper sculpture using the Ekman method. You can find them on our website at ekmanfineart.com. The kit includes paper, bonding agent, hanging elements, and your snowman casts. You'll have enough paper left over to do this delicious looking bonus candy cane ornament for your tree. This is your paper. They're all quarter size sheets of EFA paper. You have a number 2, a number 4, and a hard paper sheet. Now if you want to make a candy cane, take about 3.5 inches off the long side of that number 4 sheet, measure it, and use a clear straight edge. Here I use a triangle, and I'm going to tear it just a little bit at a time, holding it down hard and tearing it with my other hand. Okay, take your snowman casts, look them over. There's only 3, a hat, front and back. And before we go to our next step, there's one thing we have to do. That is, we have to mix our bonding agent. Add a 1/4 cup of water to a pot on the stove. When it comes to a boil, then add the powder that's in the package from the kit. You'll mix this thoroughly in the water. Here Patty's using a whisk. You could use a spoon or whatever you want. Just mix it up real good. It'll turn milky. Then you'll want to add some ice. The ice serves to cool the bonding agent. As it cools, it gets thicker. Have 2 containers ready. Add this thick bonding agent to one of the containers. After you've added the thick to one container, pour half of that thick bonding agent into the second container. Now you'll want to add water and mix thoroughly. Once you've got that thinned a little bit, you might want to add a little more water. The more water you add, the thinner it gets. Remember though, you can always make your bonding agent thinner, but the only way you can make it thicker is to add more of your thick. Okay, now that we have our bonding agent, the first thing we're going to do is trim out our casts. We're going to cut out this back of the snowman with a pair of fingernail scissors. They're a little bit curved, which kind of helps. And we'll trim this out easily. I might take my X-Acto knife here and trim out just where those 2 snowballs meet. When you use an X-Acto knife, be real careful not to cut yourself. And parents, if your children are doing this project, supervise them. You don't want them to get injured by doing this fun project. So give them a little help, especially if they're smaller. There, I'm trimming it out. The excess paper I call scrap, and you might want to save that scrap if you want to do any more project lessons of any kind, because you can always repulp it and use it later. Now I'm going to trim out the front half of the snowman with my scissors. The same way I did the back. Now I have both halves cut out, and I'm going to go around the rim of his hat with these fingernail scissors too. That curved blade on the little scissors gets around the rim of this hat really well. Alright. Now I've got my bonding agent here. My cast ready to put together. So, got a little bit of clear water there to rinse out my brushes. Got my brushes in there. I keep my bonding agent covered because we want to keep it acid free, as we do with everything. All of our paper, hands. You want to wash your hands. You don't want to get the paper dirty or acid on there. Now I'm going to take a small brush in my bonding agent and go around the lip of one of these casts. I'm working on the front of him right now. It doesn't matter which one you start with. Just get it all around the lip. Just the lip. We'll do it with the front and the back. We'll worry about the hat later. We want to assemble these two pieces to be one complete snowman, just like when you rolled it. Okay, there's the hat. And I'll put a little bit on the rim right here on the inside. I want to burnish it a little bit smooth, maybe shape it, but we're not going to assemble that to the snowman yet. I'm just letting that bonding agent soak in a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to take both casts and I'm going to register them together. You can see there's a little warpage there. That's alright, don't worry about it. We can get these together. The paper is flexible. See this? You squeeze it together. It'll go. But we're going to have to give it a little bit of help. So, I'm going to push it together with my fingers. I'm going to bend the head and the body so they're going to fit a little bit better. Yeah, that's much better. It's very flexible. So, for the next step, we are going to permanently put these together. Patty likes to use tape, but I like to use screws. Doesn't matter, you can put some masking tape on there, but this is what I like to do. So I get that screw started. It's just a deck screw. This is a container of deck screws, and they always have a little bit of oil on them, so you want to clean them and drive them through some cardboard or whatever, which cleans them pretty good. Here, I'm going to drive them through my paper and put one in the bottom and then another one through the head of my snowman. I'll register it here a little bit. And that little crack will close now when I drive that screw through the rest of the way. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the head. I'll get a smaller screw this time, and I'm going to kind of put it through where his eye might be or nose. It doesn't matter. We'll just get it started and drive that one through too. All the way through the back. Separates a little bit, but that's okay. It'll go together. Now, don't worry about it. We'll take those screws out pretty quick after it's seamed and dried. I'm going to burnish right around that seam right now. Got to be careful that I don't snag myself on those screws. Like I said, Patty uses tape, and that's fine too. I just like to use screws. Now I'm going to work on that hat a little more. Try to get that brim a little bit shaped and maybe a little thinner. That bonding agent has soaked in, so I can flatten it out a little bit. And this is an old hat anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, I'm going to take a look at the inside of my hat, and I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and punch a hole right in the middle from the inside. You could do it from the outside too. This might be a little safer. That blade isn't going anywhere inside that hat. You see I got a little bit of a slit through there. We're going to hang that hanging loop, that metal hanging loop that came in your kit. I'm going to hold it with a pair of needle nose pliers. And I'm going to push it right through the top of the hat. Go through. Okay, there it is. Pull it up a little bit. Just to reveal a little more of a loop. This is how we're going to hang the snowman. If you want him facing out, make sure that ribbon that's on the side is on the side. That loop needs to kind of go long ways. So the loop, you'd see the loop from the side of the snowman, not from the front. If you got it hanging the wrong way, your snowman will hang the wrong way on your tree. Now I'm going to cover that loop with some paper just to keep it tight in there. And when that paper dries, that loop isn't going to come out. I'll also put a little on the top and seal it in. Take my burnisher and burnish it down. Okay, we got the loop there. Now I'm going to tear some thin sheets. This is the number 2 thin paper. I'm just going to tear some strips and seam around my snowman. Tear him thin here and enough to kind of go all the way around the body and the head. So I'll paint around where that seam is and lay those thin sheets in there. And I'm going to work my way all the way around this guy with paper and with my burnisher, even on the bottom there. Okay, working them around. Now we're going to do a little chasing on him, and I'm going to tear some more sheets. As you can see, I'm using a clear straight edge here, and that thin sheet of soft paper I'm tearing on the long side. Here I'm using a clear triangle. You just lay it over the sheet and just tear some real thin strips out of that. I call these ready sheets. I'll tear these up into more manageable little sheets. Set them aside after I tear them up a little bit. Okay. Now I've got my snowman and I'm going to remove the screws. I went ahead and dried them after that seaming. So I'll get these screws out. Okay. Got that done. Now, see those holes there? Got one kind of where his nose would be and one kind of on the bottom. So I'm going to patch that hole with a small piece of paper. I'm just going to push it in with my tuck tool burnisher. You can get this on our website under Ekman Method Tools. Now I'm going to tear some more paper by using my straight edge. These are going to be a little fatter. Okay. Tear those up too. These are the thicker paper, number 4 sheets. Okay. Got those ready. Now, on the front of this snowman, we got another hole, so I'm going to patch that too. Same way I did with the nose. Burnish it in with a burnisher. And those holes will just disappear. I'll take the back where it's kind of pushed out a little bit and I'll just put some bonding agent on where those are. Cover it with the little thicker paper here. A couple sheets in there. And I'll burnish over that. What we want to do is try to make them smooth and round. Smooth and round as we want. Some snowmen aren't very smooth and round. Some are. So, depending on how you want your snowman to look, will depend on how much time you spend on it. If you want it to look a little rougher, you won't spend as many minutes. If you want it to look smoother, you'll spend a little more time that way. I'm just going to keep putting paper on here and working it in. I'm going to go all the way around him, all over, and get him smooth. I've progressed through his body and kind of seaming his head, making it round. And we put some even on the top here. We've got that little loop in his hat, so we can put his hat on. That hat will kind of sit right on top of those soft sheets of paper, and he'll get sealed pretty good when I work around that hat with a little more paper. Okay, I'll tuck a little underneath here because there is a little bit of a gap there. I'll work some paper in. We just want to make sure we get a good bond because he's hanging by the hat. And once that's dried, it does fuse together real well. Now we're going to dry the snowman under a fan on our drying stand. Alright, snowman's dried now, and what we want to do is smooth him a little bit. So I'm using a grinding block that I got at a hardware store with that gray paper. Got different courses. Some are really very coarse, and some are a little finer. This is a coarse block that I have on here, and I'm just going to try to grind him out a little bit, try to get him a little smoother. Snowmen have different kinds of, go in here with a little knife. They have different kinds of smoothness. Some are really rough, some aren't. Depends on how they're made, how quickly they're made. And you'll make your snowman the way you want, and I'm going to make this snowman the way I want. I'll even work on his hat a little bit. Hat is stuck on pretty tight. So I'll work him all over. Now I've got him ground down pretty good. And I'm going to wet him a little bit and do some burnishing, some more smoothing. Now I'm going to get a little bit of thin paper. There's some divots, some more chasing I want to do. I'm going to work on his hat. I want that hat to be kind of fatter, going from the brim, from that bottom to the top. Just a style. I've seen that with hats. They kind of get a little wider at the top. So I'm gonna work on this, and I want the top to be a little flatter. So I'm gonna put some paper there too. Okay, I've got that filled in pretty good. So now I'm going to finish it up by just putting a little more on there where I want it, around that little loop, that little hanging loop. Then I'm going to take my burnisher and I'm going to burnish that in. Got a little speck there. That happens. You can get them out easily with a knife. Little knife blade there, right on the tip. Now I'm going to flatten that out. You can see I'm getting it kind of shaped the way I want now. I'm adding a little more paper around the top of the hat. See how it's a little wider at the top than it is the bottom. That's the look that I wanted to get. A little more character, the snowman's hat. Now I'm going to use the end of a brush, and I'm going to kind of poke in those little divots where his mouth should be, I'm going to put like something in there that will give him a mouth. And I did this, I put some paper over those and then made them a little more pronounced. And I'm going to do the same with the buttons on his little snowman shirt. Okay, with the round end of a brush, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to make those a little more evident there, so I can put some little lumps of coal or whatever I'm going to do in there. And now I'm going to burnish it down, smooth it, do some more chasing on him. Get him a little rounder, shaped the way I want. And I'm even going to work on the back of him a little bit, adding a little more paper there. Like I said, you can make him as smooth or round, or you can even make him fatter. You can do what you want. Basic shape's there, so this is your project. So I'm just showing you how to work in this medium a little bit. To be able to sculpt in it is pretty cool. I've been doing this for a few years. If you've never done it before, I think you're going to find it to be a real unique medium that you can do different things with. And the Christmas tree ornaments are really cool because obviously they're paper, they're hollow for the most part. They're very light. I've hung Christmas tree ornaments on my tree that really bend the branches down. These won't do that. Even the bigger ones like the Snowman. Okay, got a little thing here I want to take care of. And I'll finish him up and then I'm going to dry him for the next step. Okay, I got him dried off. Now I'm going to do a little more grinding because I kind of reshaped him a little bit. So I'm going to just grind away some of these rough edges. Try to smooth them out a little bit. Get him shaped the way I want. Okay, I've reshaped him, burnished him down. Now I'm going to add the penetration seal. This is white glue, that Elmer's white glue mixed in water, about 10-15% glue to water. You can paint him if you want, but I'm using this spray bottle and I'm spraying him all over the place, and that'll soak in and penetrate that paper and seal it for the next step, which will be a surface seal. Now I'm going to do the surface seal. I'm just using some titanium white acrylic paint, and I'm going to take a brush and I'm going to paint him all over. This will seal him. It'll also make him white because snowmen are white. This paper is a little off-white, but this will make him snow white, which is what we want to do. So here's my acrylic paint. I like the Liquitex acrylic. And then I'm going to take a kind of a wide brush, mix a little water on it, and I'm going to paint him all over. Front, back, bottom, top. Get him completely coated real good. I want him to be completely sealed, protecting that paper from all kinds of acid and dirt and anything that might want to get on him over the years, because he will last pretty much forever. So I might even add a second coat. Get him as smooth as I can with those brushes and paint. Okay, I've got him pretty well coated. Now I'm going to let him dry. Then we'll finish him up. I did all the hard work. Now Patty's going to do the fun stuff. That's Swarovski kind of jewels that we got at Hobby Lobby. And these little jewel crystals will be fun to finish him with. So she's going to put some right there. They'll look like little lumps of coal. She's got black and she's got red. She's also got a palette there with Liquitex acrylic Mars black and cadmium red light in her little palette. She's also put some orange there. She's going to make a little carrot nose for this guy. Now she's painting his hat black very carefully. She'll have to add a couple of coats of this to cover that white. She'll let the one coat dry before she applies the second coat. Okay, she's got the top painted. Now she's very careful to paint the bottom. She's also got some white Liquitex acrylic there because she'll need to touch up a little bit. But she's got that hat painted. She's going to paint that band around there red. That's why she's left it white. So she's got it looking pretty good. And I got him looking pretty good too, getting him nice and round and smooth for her to work on. Okay, she's got the hat painted. Now she's going to use some of these little crystals. She's dipping them in a glue. You could use white glue, but she's using a different kind of white glue. This is that Julep, Elaine's Julep embroidery glue that she got at Hobby Lobby. It's a real strong glue. She's picking it up with the crystal with the tweezers and putting it where the eyes are on this snowman. They'll be kind of like lumps of coal. Now she's applying the red crystals where the mouth is. She's putting them in there. Very carefully with tweezers. Making these adjustments because the glue is still wet. She wants to put them in there and make sure they stay in there. Now we got a smile with the red crystals on this snowman. These bigger crystals will be for the buttons on his shirt. So she's going to apply those as well. Now she's got the buttons on him. And the next thing she's going to do is apply the arms on this snowman. So where the arms are, she's going to put some sticks. She's got a collection of them. She just went outside in our forest. We live in the Black Hills where we have a lot of pine trees, ponderosa pines, and we're surrounded by forests. She's just going to cut these the size she wants. She's selected the ones she wants. Everyone can get these little twigs outside. No big deal for anyone. You can find those everywhere. Unless you live in New York City, then you might have to go to Central Park to find a twig. Okay, she's got the one she wants. She's got it placed where she wants. Now she's taking an awl and she punches it right through. And then she dips it in that Julep glue and places it in the hole she just made. And that'll stay. Unless it breaks off sometime and then you just punch it again and add another twig. They're just twigs, so they break pretty easily. But most Christmas tree ornaments will break pretty easily. You can see where he's going to put that other arm, punching it with the awl where that little divot was. And she'll do the same thing. She's going to stick that other arm in her snowman. There, now he's got arms. He's got a mouth, eyes, buttons, but he doesn't have a nose. Okay, we're going to show you how to make a nose for him. She's got a dressmaker pen here, and she'll take a little bit of paper and she's going to wrap it around that pen. Here she's got needle nose pliers with a little wire cutter on the end. And she's going to snip that ball off. She's measuring the length of that, trying to get the size of that she wants there. Okay, she's cut off the ball. Now she's going to take some paper and she's going to wrap it around that pen. You see, it's kind of almost like a little triangle that she's torn there. It's a soft sheet of little #2 sheet there, paper, and she's wetting it, and then she's going to take that pen and she's going to lay it into that paper and roll it on that pen. She could use a small wire too, but it doesn't matter. She just wants to get a shape of a little carrot. So she used the tuck tool burnisher and she's tucked one end under that triangle of paper and rolled it with the other. Hand, and now she's got a little carrot nose. She's going to leave that pen in there because it'll strengthen it. And there's her little carrot nose. Pretty cute. Okay, she's drawing that carrot nose while she's going to paint that little ribbon around the hat. So she's very carefully painting around this. And I think what she wants to do is also put an actual ribbon on there, but she's painting it red. If you don't want to put a ribbon on there, you don't have to. Okay, she's got it painted all the way around. Now she's going to let that dry too. I've decided I'd like to put a pipe in his mouth. So I'm going to take a little bit of paper here and I'm going to roll it on a round wire. Just a little bit. So I've taken this soft sheet, this #2 sheet, and I'm tearing it to make a pipe. So I'm going to take some of that bonding agent, and I got a wire that I got at the hardware store. It's just brass welding wire, a rod. It's straight, and I have an assortment of these. What I'll do is I'll roll the paper on this and let it dry, and then I'll have a little pipe bowl after I slide it off that wire. So with my tuck tool burnisher, I roll After I've wetted a little bit, I roll one end and tuck it under that wire, and then I wet the rest of my paper and roll it on the wire, just very carefully rolling that wire a little bit at a time with both hands, applying my bonding agent. If you have never done this before, give yourself a few chances to get this done the way you want. Okay, I got it the thickness I want. Now I'm going to wet it and just tear it with a triangle and burnish it down. That's about as fat as I want my pipe to be. This is going to be a pipe bowl. I've got enough to, when I cut this, to make probably 4 pipes for my snowman. I'm going to burnish it down flat, and then I'm going to dry that too. Okay, I've got it thoroughly dry. Now I'm going to take a razor blade and I'm going to cut the length of pipe that I want. I can make different kinds of pipes out of this. And since I'm going to make more snowmen, I'll probably make a few. So I could make a corncob pipe. I could make a regular pipe. So there's a longer one for the corncob pipe, and there's a shorter one for the bowl of a different kind of pipe. I've got some ordinary toothpicks that I'm going to use for the pipe stems, and broke one in half, and I'm just going to kind of flatten one end of it out here, and I'm going to lay it on the bottom of the shorter pipe bowl. I'm going to cut just a little notch in here with my knife to give it a place to lay in. Okay, there. And then I'll put paper over the bottom of that and seal that. This is the number 2 sheet, just a little bit of paper down there, and then I can kind of work a ball with my fingers and press it in, and it'll stay there. Okay. Burnish it on. And then I'm going to want to dry that. Kind of smooth it the way I want. Okay. Now we'll do the other pipe. That's just a regular pipe. After it dries, I can chase that around and get it the shape I want. Now I'm going to put a little paper around where the stem meets the bowl, and that'll kind of make it a little fatter there and anchor it in there, and I'll chase that in. And after it dries again, I can use my grinding tools and my X-Acto knife to get it to shape the way I want, exactly the way I want. Okay, we'll set that down. Now let's do the corncob pipe. I punched a little hole in it with my X-Acto knife. That's where the stem's going to go. Now I'm getting the toothpick the size I want it. And then I'll place a pointed end in that little hole that I made. I'll put a little paper on the bottom of that because the bowl isn't going to be hollow all the way through. You got to have a bottom. So I'm going to wet this and push it in with my other part of the toothpick and put a little more paper on there and kind of make it flat on the bottom. Then I'm going to do the same thing in the inside of the bowl to cover that toothpick that you can see. Okay, now I have two pipes to choose from. Okay, now there's the carrot nose and the two pipes all dry. So Patty's going to take a burnisher and she's going to burnish the carrot nose. She's got that wire in there, so that paper can't break very easily. She's burnishing it pretty good. Okay, she wants to cut all the way through that paper to the wire. She's using an X-Acto knife. You can use a razor blade too, industrial blade if you want. Just cut all the way around and slide it off the wire. Now, we kind of know where it's going to go. So she's using a pen, another dressmaker pen, which is the same size as the one she wrapped the paper around. And she's kind of poked it through and reaming that hole out. So there's a divot there. So she can, there's that jewellet glue. So she can glue it in there nice and tight. So that's where it's going to go. She tries it first to make sure it's going to go in there the way she wants. Burnishing that down a little more on the end, the tip of that carrot nose. Now she's going to paint it. Okay, she's got it pretty well painted. She just holds the wire to paint that carrot nose. Now she's painting her corncob pipe. She's got some yellow ochre and yellow paint, and she's going to just paint the bowl of this pipe, trying to make it look like a corncob. And she's painting the inside black. Most pipes are black inside because they get burned. We made 3 pipes because we'll be making more snowmen and we'll want one for the standing Santa. So she's going to paint these other 2 black. Okay, she's got that finished, holding it with tweezers, and she'll set that aside and let that dry. And then she went ahead and painted the other pipe black too. Now she's going to work on that ribbon. It's on the snowman's hat. She's got it painted red. So if you do this, you really don't have to paint the one that's there. But she's just trying to see if she can overlap everything nice. Kind of measuring to see how much ribbon she needs. And then she's going to cut that with her scissors. Now she's painting around the rim of that hat over her red paint with the jewellet glue to tack that ribbon down. Okay, she's got it painted all the way around. She's got her ribbon measured, and she's going to just gingerly put it around where the glue is. See the glue kind of slipping out, but um, it'll dry clear, so you can get it all the way around there. Okay, now she's going to take another little piece of ribbon, her fingers, and she's going to make the bow. So, works it in her fingers, cuts it. Okay, now she's going to apply the carrot nose. It's a little bit of glue on the wire and a little bit in that hole and divot where the nose is going to go. Little carrot nose. And she sticks it in there. And when that dries, it's going to stay in there pretty good. There it is. Carrot nose. Pretty cute. Now she's going to apply two ribbons, a red one and a green one for a scarf on the snowman. So she's going to tie that on and she'll tack it down, this time with a glue gun, right where she wants it. Okay, she's got it on there. Now she's going to take a glue gun and she's going to tack it down with this glue gun. She could use the julep glue, but this time she's using the glue gun. Got it right down there, tacked down. Glue cools real fast and she's got it. Now she's going to apply the ribbon to the hat, glue from the glue gun too, and she'll stick that on. A pair of tweezers. The last thing she needs to do is put on the hanging string. But before she does that, she's got to put the corncob pipe in the snowman's mouth. Okay, she's going to take the awl, punch a hole where the mouth is so she can put the pipe in his mouth. And then taking the pipe that she's painted, there's two, black one and a white one. She kind of likes this corncob pipe. Try it in the hole there. You can even paint the toothpick, keeping it natural. Now she's going to put it in there. It does look like a corncob pipe. He's not Frosty. Frosty has a button nose. He's not Olaf either. Olaf doesn't have a corncob pipe or a hat. And now she's chosen the silver hanging string and she's just going to tie it at the top. And her snowman is finished. Was mine, but somehow she took it over, did the fun part. I'll show you one that I finished after this, but here's her snowman. There it is. Pretty cute. Good job, Patty. And this is the one that I made. There's my snowman. Kind of like hers, but a little different. There are many more of these Christmas tree ornament project lessons that you can do. Go and check out our website at ekmanfineart.com. You can order these Christmas tree ornament kits as well as other project lessons. Just go to the menu bar here and click on Ekman Method. Once you're there, you'll find our paper, bonding agent, project lessons, and you'll find starter casts, DVDs, and tools. The pictures just represent the categories we have for the project lessons and ways to work in this medium. And we'll go under the Daisy Kit and we'll click there and we'll find these project lessons. There's all the Christmas tree ornaments, and you can click on any of those to order. You can search and it'll come up under search from the menu bar as well. To get started, go to our website ekmanfineart.com to order your Christmas tree ornament project lessons or any other project lessons as well, and enjoy.